Bitcoin has broken above $50,000 for the first time in over 2 years. But the biggest and most bust-worthy part about it is that we haven't even begun to see the true bust yet. The price of Bitcoin has just broken above 50,000 US dollars for the first time in well over 2 years, going all the way back to the very end of 2021. But if you think that that's big, I have something at least twice as big to show you in this video. So if you love busting, but you realize we've only seen a tiny bust and there's way more busting to come, hit that like, hit that subscribe, sign up to Femix below if you want to buy Bitcoin, altcoins, or trade. And without any further ado, let's absolutely dump into potentially one of the biggest setups that we've ever seen in the history of Bitcoin. So as you can see on this chart, this is the weekly chart for Bitcoin. Guys, it is a beautiful chart. It's absolutely gorgeous. I'm absolutely losing my mind seeing this. And the reason that we're seeing this is absolutely gargantuan. You know, a couple of weeks ago, people were saying, hey, I'm kind of tired of hearing about the Bitcoin spot ETFs. I can't wait till they're approved so we don't have to hear about them ever again. And honestly, I was part of that camp. But I think it's time, and I think a lot of people already have realized, let's actually change our minds on that a little bit. Let's keep talking about these Bitcoin spot ETFs because they're literally pumping us to the moon, to the outer solar system, and to potentially the farthest galaxy that we've ever seen, right? The Bitcoin spot ETF buying pressure that we're seeing is unlike anything we've ever seen before, and it's growing every single day. And as myself and many people believe, every $1,000 that Bitcoin pumps is going to be a recursive feedback loop to where we probably will keep pumping, right? It's basically, how do I say this? The unending pump. So with that being said, I actually want to jump into a lot of information before we continue with the Bitcoin charts here. And namely, let's start off here. So while we're waiting to see if the daily net inflow from the ETF issuers keeps the pace of about $500 million, which is absolutely insane, $500 million per day, we notice the supply of Bitcoin has not moved in the last 6 months, remains at about 80%. A great setup for potential short squeeze in case we see a significant increase in demand. Are we seeing a significant increase in demand? We're seeing something. I'll tell you that much. We're seeing something. Just in the 9 Bitcoin ETFs accumulating well over about 220,000 Bitcoin in just the first month. 9 Bitcoin ETFs holding more than $10 billion in Bitcoin. Absolutely insane already. As myself and many people have been saying, you know, the most successful ETF launch in history, and we haven't even seen anything yet. Here's a clip from CNBC this morning about, it's actually Pompliano, the Bitcoin supporter and mattress salesman, but he's saying that ETFs are buying up to 12.5x more Bitcoin per day than the daily issuance. And what's happening in just like 2 months? Well, the daily issuance is actually getting cut in half from 900 to 450 Bitcoin per day. Absolutely. This is gigantic. It's literally as big as you could ever imagine. Spot ETF inflows are accelerating. If we actually switch to this chart, you can see, we see the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust is this black, which is where all of these outflows are coming from. But then iShares in yellow, which is BlackRock's, Fidelity in green, and then all of these other ETFs. What do you notice? What do you notice about this chart? The outflows from GBTC have been decreasing. The inflows are increasing. This is a recipe for a bull explosion. Okay. This is how it looks in Bitcoin terms. Huddle 15 Capital pointing this out. The number of Bitcoin bought and sold by Bitcoin spot ETF. You can see this is absolutely bananas. Will there be a day? You know, we had 12,000 Bitcoin bought up on this day on February 9th. Will there be a day we see 120,000 Bitcoin bought up? That's a Moonboy's wet dream. But dreams often do become reality. Here we have, do we have the potential for the first time in history to actually have an all-time high before the halving? This is insane. If this buying pressure keeps up, if it just continues the trend that it's on, then the answer is yes. There's absolutely no guarantee. I don't know if it's 100% going to. Actually, nobody has any idea if it actually will. That's like a huge thing to say anyway. It's gigantic to say we might actually breach an all-time high for the first time in history. But keep in mind about, there was a time a couple years ago where people were saying we will never go below a previous Bitcoin all-time high, and we did. We did go below the previous all-time high, which was about 20,000. Remember, in this bear market that we're leaving right now, we went below 20,000, all the way down to about 16.5, right around the $15,000 area. All models are broken. potentially this model will get broken. Potentially we will bust harder, faster, stronger, bigger, and biglier than ever in the history of Bitcoin. And will we have a new all-time high before the halving? These Bitcoin spot ETFs give us that potential, whereas I don't necessarily think we had that potential without the Bitcoin spot ETFs. Here we have On-Chain College talking about the MVRV. If we zoom in, you can see that here. Let me actually get rid of you can see right down here is where we are, okay? And you can see the run-up that happens during these bull markets. Basically, this indicator shows us when we're getting basically oversold, and we're nowhere close to it, right? We're just breaking this. You look, the last times we were at these levels, I mean, we had so much bull market to go. And that really is the point of this. The MVRV is saying that we have way more we can pump without this indicator showing us we're anywhere close to the top. Ginormous. ETF inflows breaking over $500 million in one day. So yes, I mean, we're getting by the time this video gets uploaded, there's probably going to be some more breaking news about massive amounts of inflows and stuff, right? I do want to highlight Max Scalping Pro talking about the Bitcoin halving. We're less than 60 days away now, roughly about 59 days. Okay, you can see right here, huge. Supply issuance being cut in half. The supply issuance being cut in half with this current amount of buying and current amount of demand will absolutely, I'm just going to say it. It's going to change the history of mankind and the history of baby bullkind, more importantly. This can get so bullish. Okay. Bitcoin now fully confirmed. Rect Capital says here, time has officially run out. Bitcoin is now completely transitioned into the pre-halving rally phase, as I like to call the bust phase. We're getting there. We're so close. Matthew Hyland, the 3-day MACD crossed up and confirmed yesterday. Once again, this indicator has led to a higher price with 100% accuracy for the past 3 years, as we see higher prices today. Okay, so the MACD on the 3-day also crossing up. I do want to look at the weekly in a second here. But, here we are, Will Clemente highlighting that we're hovering right around $50,000 US, and Google search trends for Bitcoin looks like this. No euphoria. I'm excited, you're excited, but everybody outside of crypto, nobody's paying attention yet, right? There are still some people that bought Bitcoin at $65,000 for the very first time. Do you think they're excited that Bitcoin's only down, 15% or 10% or something? No, maybe they'll get excited once they are in profit. But, I think we're quickly going to be getting there, much quicker than I think people realize. And the Bitcoin sell the news folks, Matthew says, and I agree with this fully, are still trying to defend their view. Sell the news was absolute baloney, right? How can they sell the news when they didn't have access to buy in this capacity and in this way? Higher prices a month after this event, it cannot be sell the news. 20% pullbacks have been the norm. And basically, this post is more just highlighting that, no, this is not a sell the news event. If it was a sell the news event, it was the weakest sell the news event of all time. So if we look at the SPX today, daily chart looks pretty good. 50.42 currently on the SPX, S&P 500 looking pretty good. Maybe we can call it the S&P 5000 from now on. So that's good. Bitcoin on the 4-hour chart, again, you can see this bust continues out of this pattern. Breaking 50,000 is huge. Will we get rejected here? Could it take a few days before we really cement 50K and really hold it? Potentially. But on the daily chart for Bitcoin as well, we do now have this mega bullish cross, which is the 21 going back above the 50-day moving average right here. And you can see the last time that we got this was all the way back here in October of 2023 when Bitcoin was like 27,000 US dollars. And then over the next few months, it ran up to about 50,000 US dollars. Then we had the massive, the horrible sell the news event, which was, again, the weakest sell the news event of all time. And now look at us breaking new highs. Yesterday, I was getting comments about like a potential double top. Well, we already erased that fear, right? We're higher now. No double top. Could we get a pullback? Absolutely. And we will at a certain point, but so much strength, so much buying pressure is coming in here. And as I tweeted like a day or two ago, I think that the buying pressure, and maybe I'll even change a little bit, I think that the buying pressure that is going to come in from BlackRock's Bitcoin spot ETF alone is going to be in this upcoming cycle, I think is going to be greater than the entirety of the last bull market from 2020 to 21, the entire buying pressure of that. So what? That leaves another 8 Bitcoin spot ETFs, all of retail, and, you know, billions more in buying pressure that I think we're going to be excluding and still blasting through that metric. Absolutely mind-numbing. I'm so glad that I'm not sitting on the sidelines right now. I'm so glad that I didn't listen to all the absolute, how do I put this nicely, butterfingers that were telling you to sell at 20K and wait to buy back in at 10K or 3K or whatever the dumbest targets on the planet that I've ever heard were that they said. Absolutely. Oh man, I want to say so many things, man, but I would probably get like in trouble or something. So I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. I'll say it off camera to myself. But so if we look here too, Bitcoin getting now back above this trend, I think just glorious. Good to see this. This chart right here, there's 2 massive levels of volume. The one we just broke. The next one is at 57,000. And then there's literally no other big levels of volume. This chart gets dark, so it might be hard to see if you want to zoom in. I don't know how to change this indicator. See how it's like bright right here and then it gets dark right here? I'm not sure how to change that. But if you look, you can squint your eyes. This is like the last big level. There's really no other massive levels of accumulated volume. And that kind of just shows us where some of those potential resistances and absolutely massive support is. And boy, do we have a lot of support below us. And as I pointed out as well, we absolutely are entering the bust phase. This is the entire altcoin market cap. We are entering the bust phase. Big time. Okay. Absolutely gargantuan. And get signed up with Femex below if you want to buy Bitcoin, altcoins, or start trading. Without any further ado, that's it for me.